welcome to yet another edition of the Wrap Up. Dan Myers, Nick Buckler with you. As always, Dan, there's a little bit of a dilemma now. Pavel Datsyuk has moved on from the Detroit Red Wings, and he was wearing an A for the alternate captain, and now that spot's going to have to be filled. Obviously, you have a captain and two alternates, and for years now since Nick Lidstrom left, it's been Henrik Zetterberg as the captain, and it's been Pavel Datsyuk and Niklas Kronwall as the alternates. And now there's finally a spot where this spot's opening up. Who's going to get the other A? And there's a laundry list of guys who are definitely in the running.
Yeah, there are a lot of deserving guys also, and that's key too. I think I have my mindset on one certain guy. I'm not sure where you want to go, but I definitely have mindset on a certain player. I don't know if you want to go first. You want me to go first?
I have 6 players who I think could possibly deserve it. But I have one pick who I think is actually going to get it. I don't know if you have guys who you think are deserving. But here's the 6 guys I have that you can make an argument for. Gus Nyquist, you can make an argument. Guy's a leader on and off the ice. Justin Abdelkader, I think he's definitely got a good shot. Dylan Larkin is in there. Do I think he'll get it? No. But I definitely think you got to throw his name in just because he could be the next superstar. And then these next 3 are more grinding type guys that back when Chris Draper wore the A. Luke Glendening, I think, does more leading than people realize. Drew Miller, I think, is really a guy who leads these younger guys, and he leads by example. And then another one who's on there who's been an alternate places he's gone. He's new to the team this year, but probably why he won't get it, but I'd throw Steve Ott's name in the ring as well because he's always been a leader and he's got good veteran leadership. I don't know if you've got a list of guys or not, but those are my 6.
Yeah, I like that. I really didn't even consider Steve Ott. That's a good toss-up. I think that you got to go with my big 3 would probably be Larkin for sure. There's all that talk about him being the next Steve Yzerman as far as leadership is concerned, the youth movement that they're sort of going towards. I do like Abdelkader and I do like Miller. Drew Miller he's one of these silent guys that really you miss him when he's gone, but you don't really notice the important plays that he does make on and off the ice, whether it's just leadership or just power plays or penalty kills. He's huge, and we definitely missed him last year. But I got to go with Justin Abdelkader. I think he just personifies what an assistant captain's supposed to be, and he's the main guy I have to go with. I do like Drew Miller, but Steve Ott, that really got me thinking with that one.
Do I think Abdelkader is going to get it? Absolutely. I think he's the guy. Do I think he deserves it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know if I would pick Justin Abdelkader to be that guy. I would probably pick a Drew Miller or a Luke Glendening, but Abdelkader I think is going to be the next alternate, and I think it's going to be an easy decision for Kenny and Jeff Blashill. And even if Zetterberg has a say or Kronwall, I'm not sure. But I think Abdelkader is going to be your next alternate captain. Let's just go down who they were before. I mean, a classy organization. Obviously, when Steve Yzerman was there, you had Sergei Fedorov. You had Niklas Lidstrom wearing the A. You've had Chris Draper wearing the A. You've had Pavel Datsyuk, Henrik Zetterberg. These guys wore the A, and they wore it well. They're not like some teams where they're just tossing A's out, tossing letters out. San Jose just taking their captaincy, giving it between 3 different guys.
Just throwing Velcro on it.
During 2 seasons, they have 3 different captains. That's not going to make for A, good clubhouse or locker room presence, and B, that's not going to get respect from the players at all. And a team who changed their captain this year is the LA Kings. Dustin Brown's been their captain for the last 6 years, I believe. And this year they randomly go, we're going to give it to Kopitar. Sorry, Dustin Brown. He's not happy, and I think he wants out of LA. I would definitely not want Dustin Brown on my team. I think he's one of the dirtiest players in this league, and he's much overrated, and I'm not a fan of the player at all.
Yeah, I have to agree with you 100% as far as the Wings have that A, the alternate captain and the captaincy obviously was so respected. And, you look at, like you were talking about, Nick, the respectable leaders that, the shoes you have to fill, which are huge. I mean, look at these Hall of Fame names that wore the assistant captain and, the captaincy. And they are huge shoes to fill. And I think this is one of the only organizations where it's actually respected and it's a privilege to have it. Like you were saying with was it San Jose or not San Jose, LA.
Yeah.
You know, they really were tossing those around. You kind of look and listen. You hear, oh well, they have a new captain. Wait, wasn't he the captain last year? What's going on? And it's just it's not respected like it is with the Wings organization, and that's huge. And whoever does get it is definitely going to respect it and really feel the privilege of having it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Here in Detroit, it's not just a letter to put on your jersey, like in Mites or Pee Wees when you had the Velcro that you just stuck on the jersey. And I love in beer leagues when you're playing against a team and the captain skates out. It's like, I mean, how are you the captain? Do you bring the beer every week? Do you yell at the team when they don't score 3 goals in a game? I mean, are you the designated ref yeller? I mean, I don't get. I mean, to me, they aren't just letters. That they truly mean something, especially for an Original Six franchise like the Red Wings. I'm sure the same goes in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, New York. I mean, Chicago. The list goes on. But I really think it's a true honor to get it to whomever does get it down the stretch. The Red Wings have said they're probably going to put their defensive search for that top 4 defenseman on hold until training camp. They want to see what they got. They have 17 forwards right now, and only 12 are going to be able to play every night. So they're going to have to weed out which guys they're going to trade and which guys they're going to send back down. There's still players who are waiver exempt going into this year. Athanasiou's waiver exempt, for example, Timu Pulkkinen, some of these guys. But Pulkkinen's not going to be there at the beginning of the season. So it's a matter of just kind of fondling around until you find the right mix and match of forwards that you're going to play and defensemen that you're really not going to play.
Yeah, and you don't want to push him too much, especially with the injury going on right now. That just spells for disaster. But yeah, they were showing some videos on Facebook. I don't know if you saw any of that, but they looked really good. Was it the process? What's going on right now?
It's over now. It was the development camp up in Traverse City.
Yeah, and they showed some pretty nice.
Did you see Tyler Bertuzzi?
Yes.
When he swats the defenseman's stick out of his hand,
yeah.
Goes through his legs and roofs it, looking like old Bird out there. Tyler Bertuzzi's definitely going to be a player who's definitely going to draw attention from these teams. That, hey, can we maybe get this guy on the roster? Do I think this year? No, because they're just so crowded. They need to make a trade to free up some room for these younger guys to play and to get that top 3, top 4 defenseman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do need a stronger defenseman for sure. I'd love to see a bigger guy also. Traditionally, that's what you would look for. But yeah, if we can pick someone up that's strong, solid, and it doesn't really have to be that marquee player that a lot of the bandwagon fans or fringe fans will want. If it's just a solid, just a solid defenseman to keep that going, that'd be great.
I don't think solid is going to be good enough for this team because they have a bunch of trash right now. Let's be honest. Jonathan Ericsson on your top pair with Nick Cronwall is one of the worst pairs in the NHL. Brendan Smith, I think, has got to take the next leap this year. I've been rooting for him since he came up, and I've been in the minority that's been rooting for him. You let Kyle Quincy go, who's one of your more solid defensemen last year. You're not re-signing him. So could that be a mistake possibly? I think it's more so just to kind of bring some freshness to the blue line and just change it up. They signed Marchenko. Whether you agree with it or not, it's happened. He's here 2 more years. They need someone big. They need a Kevin Shattenkirk. They need a Cam Fowler. They need a big, physical, but a guy who can move the puck. That's why I think Mike Green's going to take a step this year. He scored 30 goals on the blue line just 3 years ago. So, I mean, it's there. I think he was just kind of adapting to a new system, getting to know his teammates. And I think the offensive production, we need that quarterback on the power play. We don't need that guy who's going to skate up to center ice and do the drop pass like they do every single power play. Sorry, Cronwall, Z should not be on the power play. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Put him on the 3rd line. I mean, to me, they need a guy who can move the puck back there and generate offense from your defense.
Right. That's one thing you're talking about Cronwall, dropping it back and stuff. That's one thing that drives me nuts is when he skates it back. And I know you got to reform, you got to reset the play and get something going. But you're on a power play, you barely take a shot as it is or shots, I should say, as it is when they are on the power play. It's always past the puck, or it looks like they're playing a big game of keep away. I'm sure there's some formula or some play that they got set up that works perfect in practice. These past couple of years, though, I really haven't seen anything to root for. I'd kind of really want it to change. That drives me nuts when he just parks behind our own net, looks to see who's going on, and then starts to skate out. I just feel like you're wasting time, precious time that you don't have, especially when you're not capitalizing on that extra man and taking shots at the net rather than just passing it around. If you watched any of these playoffs this year, you definitely saw that they were actually just throwing it on the net. That's what we need. And, even if it's a deflection or it's just put it on the net, you park someone up front like they used to do with Homer, and you hack away at it. Whether he's getting hacked or not, that's a different story, but even maybe draw a second penalty with that. But I really don't like the way that they handle these power plays, and I think that really needs to change. Maybe I'm just nostalgic, and I like the old way of how it used to be, but I think that really definitely needs to change, and it all starts with the defense.
And you know why you like the old way? It's pretty easy. They
It
won
worked.
games, and
Yeah.
they worked. They scored goals. The power play has been abysmal in the last couple seasons, and I hope these new assistant coaches really kind of help the team take the next step. I've said that a lot today. Take the next step. But that's what these players need to do. You need to get these guys in the lineup. I'm sorry, if Athanasiou and Mantha aren't in the lineup this year, it's a failure.
Yeah.
The organization has failed them by not getting them in the lineup when they've proven they deserve to be there. Make some trades, get rid of some guys to get your young guys in the lineup, plain and simple. If not, you failed. Then that'll
Absolutely.
help them. A trade will help them because they can free up some room. It's a crowded forward group right now.
Yeah.
And you have guys like Eric Tangradi down there who are good NHL players that just rotting away in the minors. He led the AHL in scoring last year. And he's just in our minor league system, just rotting away. He's big, he's physical, he puts the puck in the net, he could be that guy in the front in the power play. And he played one game in the NHL last year, and he played pretty darn well. We're going to move on when we come back to talk a little bit of baseball, right? Oh, and
Okay.
Dan's got an update about something that none of us probably care about. We'll be right back.
If ever there's a reason to be swept up in the season of the falling leaves, and if the days grew shorter and the darkness drew its order from the autumn gray, I'd rather sit this out and sleep the day away instead. But weary eyes a bit too slow and deep. Rather sit this out and sleep the day away instead, to worry about the emptiness that comes.
That's right. The Midsummer Classic is this week. That is the All-Star game, Dan. And only one Tiger is represented, Miguel Cabrera. We've already touched on this in weeks past. And do you think that the fan vote is ruining the All-Star game? Because there are stakes on this game. They determine who gets home field in the World Series, and it's just a popularity contest. To put this into perspective, just take a listen to this. Ian Kinsler, he was 5th in second baseman voting. They put him on the final vote. He got 4th out of 5. I want to blow your mind a little bit. Omar Infante, who was cut by the Kansas City Royals, released, was higher than Ian Kinsler in second base voting. Fans should not have a voice to put people in the All-Star game because it matters. If it was just for fun and no one cared, sure, vote them in. But I think the players and the coaches should be the ones to say, hey, this is who we want on this team. This is who we want to help us get home field advantage.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. They, there's not much on the line when it comes to the, hockey All-Star games, but with baseball, there is something on the line, and it does matter. And if you want to have the fans participate, maybe just have a uniform designing contest, as cheesy as that is. But when there's something on the line like there is in baseball, you really got to take that type of control out of the fans' hands. because you're just going to get these marquee players, not people that really deserve to be there, and so then that just takes away from the All-Star game. Like you were saying about Infante, it's unfortunate, and I really don't like the fan voting experience. It's just do something else. You guys are paying people millions of dollars to be creative, whether it's public relations or whatever. Get something going, but this fan control as far as who's on there, it's got to go, and it's really losing its lacquer. I mean, when was the last time you watched a full All-Star game?
No, I barely watched any of the home run derby. They change it up to try to keep it fresh, but it's the same every year. It's boring.
And I think it echoes the whole season, is the fact that it's too long. There's too many commercials. It's just stretched, and a lot can be said about the whole MLB season, but that's another discussion.
I'd rather watch the celebrity softball game that they show after. Jenny Finch.
Yes.
Looking like prime real estate. However, it's lackluster now. It's boring. Mm-hmm. And that's really all that we need. So it's the celebrity all-star game, that is.
Yeah.
Softball game. And that's what attracts the viewers. Yep. Well, at least me. So and they always play it like abbreviated and whatnot. So show that. I'd rather watch that. But all sports fans should be taken right out, and it's pretty bad.
You really think people are going to lose sleep if they can't vote for the next MLB?
I haven't voted. I voted #vote Kinsler.
Okay.
That was about it.
That was the degree
That
of
was
it.
the extent. And for the final vote, that's stupid too. 5 guys battling it out for one spot. And, of course, when you put a guy from Toronto, Michael Saunders, who ended up winning, you have a whole country of people voting for one guy as opposed to these cities just voting for another.
Out.
Of course the guy from Canada's going to win. He's got a whole country. So, I mean, that's that. Dan, you had something you wanted to say about UFC?
Oh, yeah. There was a huge pay-per-view last weekend. Huge card. It was supposed to be the Super Bowl of MMA. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case when John Jones went down with who knows what he was taking. It's not, as of now, it's not out yet what he took. But he was one of the big marquee fights that didn't happen, and it was kind of disappointing. But yes, you did have the return of Brock Lesnar from the WWF or WWE, whatever you're calling it. And he had a pretty good message at the end of his fight about, with all the tragedy and everything, the violence and turmoil that's going on in this country right now. He had a good message that you just got to unite. But as far as that fight, he was just a beast. And if anybody saw it, you saw the guy's face after. He's going to be a guy to deal with. I don't think he'll be going back anytime soon. And then real quick, you had the Miesha Tate fight and the Amanda Nunes fight. That was pretty entertaining. Fortunately, Miesha Tate lost the title to Nunes. I'm a Tate fan. She definitely got overpowered, and it was, if you did purchase the pay-per-view, it was pretty entertaining, but nothing where it should have been.
All right. Wake me up. That's over. Sports. Pistons. They signed a player on Tuesday, officially. The Spurs center, Boban Marjanovic, came over. 7'3", and his hands are about that big. And he is now a Detroit Piston. He was a restricted free agent. They offered him 3 years at $21 million for the total over those 3, so averaging $7 million per season. And the Spurs said they're not going to match the offer sheet, and he now becomes a Detroit Piston. Andre Drummond took to Twitter to say he is very excited for Boban, or however you're going to pronounce his name, to be there, because now he's not going to have to go down in the paint against them. Now they will be united in the front court for the Detroit Pistons. I think this is a good signing. I really do. As last week I've talked about my love for the NBA. I do like this move for the Pistons because they got to be able to compete just to maybe win a playoff round, and I think this guy's going to be good. It's better than the alternative. And he can shoot free throws, so don't worry. When Drummond's off the court later, this guy can shoot about 75%. So better than 36% that Andre Drummond shoots. And I think it's a good signing coming over from the Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially under the leadership of the formerly or just retired Tim Duncan. Yeah, that's huge. And if they can gel and get this thing going, that's great. They showed a lot of potential last year, and it's just nothing but excitement for these guys. I really thought that Cleveland series, was really overshadowed as far as what the outcome was as opposed to what really happened. I think it was a big testament of what this team's capable of doing, taking down the NBA champions.
Yeah, it really is. Enough basketball talk. We don't want to lose too many viewers. But we are going to talk Zika virus. The Rio Games coming up, and a lot of golfers are pulling out. Yeah. Dustin Johnson has pulled out. Jordan Spieth has pulled out. But guys who haven't, Ricky Fowler said he'll go. He'll be representing the United States, as will Bubba Watson, Matt Kuchar, and Patrick Reed are the 4 representing the United States of America. Definitely hurts to not have Spieth on the squad, or DJ for that matter. Yeah. You know, world number 2 and 3 right there. And world number 1 will not be there either. Jason Day will not be representing Australia. So a lot of guys are pulling out of these games. And I probably would too if it were up to me, if I had a choice. And I mean, the Olympics, it's an honor to represent your country and go in one of the most historic events of all time, the Olympic Games. But when it comes to health and safety, you got to wonder, is it really worth it to contract this virus if it is down there like they say it is?
Right, and this, I mean, just, the virus is just, you know, on a laundry list of stuff that's going wrong, whether it's just the corruption going down there, the safety of the athletes itself. It's really, you know, there's definitely some backdoor deals going on over there or something. It just is not legitimate. It's almost, I don't want to say it's going to be a joke, but you're not going to be getting the turnout that you normally would at a traditional Olympics, like we've seen before. The finest athletes, like you're saying, a couple of the golfers not showing up. It's really interesting. Every day I look at my Facebook news feed or Twitter feed, there's something different going on as far as the Rio Games are concerned. A new thread, a new incident. It sounds like the athletes will be taken care of, but as far as the spectators and the out-of-town media and fans or what have you, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a pleasurable experience. You know, it's the Olympics. You should be excited about that, not worrying about a virus, possible, I hate to throw this word out, but terrorism. And just the safety and well-being is probably at stake, and that's unfortunate because there's a lot of first-timers on this Olympic ballot, and unfortunately it's not going to be the experience that you're normally traditionally going to get. Right,
and if you remember just 2 years ago in the Moscow Games, they were worried for different reasons. I remember a member of I can't remember, it was a U.S. team, might have been, that was a winter game, so I think it was like the sled team or bobsled. She posted a video outside of her hotel room, and there's a mountain lion walking in the hallway. So, I mean, that's really not safe, and it was a very sketchy-looking hotel as it was.
Right.
Where Olympic athletes are staying.
The Olympic
Village.
I
mean, third world countries should not be getting the Olympic Games. I'm sorry. It's just, I know every country should be allowed to host an Olympic Games, but you have to make these athletes safe because they're coming from all over the world. And putting them in huts and mountain lions walking outside your room when you're trying to sleep and get ready for, you know, your big run the next day or whatever, trying to win a gold medal for your country, that they shouldn't be put in situations like that. And I mean, Rio has been under a lot of heat, you know, just even for the last maybe 6 years since it was announced that the games were coming here in 2016, and now it's right around the corner, just a few weeks away, and people are saying they don't want to be a part of it. And what does that say to the committee who selects these cities, that you're not picking the right cities? And although Zika is a fairly new breakout, that's not the only problem going on in Rio.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. It's kind of run down in parts. I'm not going to say the whole city or the whole country, because it's not just Rio. They have to spread it around. If you remember in Beijing Games, I don't remember, it was probably 8 years ago, they had events that happened, you know, 100 miles away. It's just the surrounding area. So it's not just limited to Rio. It's some of these other suburbs. I don't know if it's suburbia, but it's right down there. But the metro area, if you will, is getting the whole games to them. And I think the committee needs to start picking safer towns and maybe more populous areas. You know, should more European countries be getting it? Yes. Should the United States get a shot? Sure. Canada, yeah, even though they just have Vancouver. I mean, I think Italy deserves it. You know, I think England, Great Britain, they had it not too long ago, I believe.
Yeah, you know that.
Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I might just be making stuff up now. But the point is, I think the committee needs to do a better job, and I think this Olympics is really going to be a wake-up call for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how they cover this whole event. You're always getting the wide shots of whether it's Olympic Village or the big soccer stadium or what have you. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see how this is covered. Definitely. It sounds like they're not ready. It sounds like they need another 2 years from some of the articles you read or some of the coverage you'll see depending on the station.
It's not an Olympic Games if Bob Costas isn't there. He has not announced he will not be there yet, folks, so don't worry. You will still have some Bobby Cost, and you'll still have some Dan Myers and Nick Buckler, because we're not going anywhere. We're not going to Rio that we know of, unless we're sent there because our bad ratings. They might send us there on punishment. That's a lie. We have bad ratings. Yeah, right. Are you kidding me? Have you seen our show? Dan Myers, Nick Buckler, we're out of here yet again.
See ya. Oh.